I knew it. I knew it was Sephiroth all along. Man, I want to kill these things so bad. Like, we're doing the PC any percent speedrun routing right now, and I gotta run away from everything. And we're doing this challenge, I gotta run away from everything. Can we do a challenge after this that's like max XP challenge? I have to fight everything and get all the rewards and all the XP and watch my characters go up levels and get stronger and stuff. Can we do a playthrough like that? No, like a playthrough where I go through the game and I like fight everything that I run into and then I like use all the stuff I got to beat the bosses. I don't know what kind of playthrough that would be, but something like that would be cool. No, not a regular playthrough. It would totally be a challenge. Thank you, Thunderhawk. I also had a god-awful week this week, but I'll tell you what, it really turned around the last 2 days. It's really been an awesome time these last 2 days with you guys. Not that it's not always an awesome time, but you guys have definitely helped turn my week around, so I appreciate it. Someone messaged me about well, it's been a thought in the community for a long time to do like a reverse XP playthrough where you start at level 99 and then go down levels. But unfortunately, it's not much of a challenge in Final Fantasy VII. But maybe we can make it a challenge somehow. Oof. Wow, this is a terrifying fight. What the heck? I forgot this fight was a thing. I completely forgot this fight exists. We're dead. If it was on weight, maybe we wouldn't be dead, but we're dead. We're alive. Wow. Yeah, if you've never seen the Necrosis mod, I highly recommend the Cloud Solo Necrosis mod playthrough we did. It's probably the coolest playthrough we've ever done. Probably the most difficult playthrough I've ever done. If I had to pick the hardest challenge I've ever done, it would probably be Cloud Solo Necrosis. That playthrough was crazy. Had to min-max every single fight in the game to get through. Oh, I forgot these guys you do have to kill. So there you go, we get some XP from them. on. Let me think. Do we need to change? We have Aerith in the PHS. We have to bring Sid, so the question is it better to have Red 13 in the PHS or Aerith in the PHS? I don't think it matters. I think it depends on which one is closer to going up a level, actually. Let me see here. Do a little scoping here. Let's see. What? Red 13 needs 1,641 XP to go up a level. Aerith needs 1,757 to go up a level. So we want her to get the XP, which means we're actually perfect. Bro, how much health? It'll auto update. Man, why does Barret still do so little damage? He has a good weapon. Well, he's still very underleveled, but he's a higher level than the others. But yeah, level does affect a lot. Yeah, I'm just surprised with this weapon he's not doing more. Nice. Red 13 was closer to going up a level, so Aerith needs to get the XP. Although I don't think it'll matter in the end, but it might, so we gotta make sure. double check something. Wait, hold on. Back to doing math in my head here. So we want the character who is a higher level to be in the PHS, because that means they'll go up less levels overall. But if they're the same level, then we want the person with less XP in the party. I mean, I guess I could see it both ways, like, but no, I think this is right. I think this is the right way to do it. Because if they're not going up a level, if one would go up a level and the other one wouldn't, then it would be better to have that person in the party. So I think this is right. Even though technically Red 13 is on a higher level than Aerith in that he has more XP. But, like, in this scenario, it's better for her to get the XP. This playthrough is such a math problem. Okay, so actually what we want to do here is we want to catch the train and then run out of time. Hello? Because if you miss the train completely, as long as this first fight doesn't start right away, right? I hope not. Okay. Yeah, so if you don't catch the train at all, then you can never get Ultima. The kid just doesn't even sell it to you. But if you catch the train and then fail and it crashes, then you can still get Ultima, but you have to buy it from the kid. So. But yeah, we obviously can't do... We can't get it for free because we can't win any of these fights. So now we chill. I don't know, like I could see it both ways. So like, it would be less levels overall. Like normally we want the people with the higher levels in the PHS because they will take more XP to go up a level. But in this scenario, they're both the same level. So it will take Aerith more XP to go up a level because she's got less XP. So yeah, I mean, it's splitting hairs, but technically it's better, I think. It will almost certainly not matter in the end, but... And they're also really close. It's like 100 XP, but... Yep, we're crashing this train. And then we have a whole universe of options opened up to us here. We can go do chocobo racing to try to get enemy away and maybe hero drinks. We can farm money to try to get a sneak glove, so we can farm more money, so we can buy stuff we need. We can go get infinite elixirs. We can go get quadra magic. We can go get stuff from the battle arena. We can go get stuff from Wutai. We can go get the Power Soul, but Power Soul's probably not going to be very helpful. I wouldn't imagine. The big thing we need to do is get HP pluses for carry armor. No, Wutai doesn't do anything because we don't have Yuffie. It's just a town. It's just a town with some stuff in it. What happens if you don't reach the train? If you don't catch the train at all, then literally nothing happens. You go back and they're like, well, and then you leave. If you catch the train, but then you don't get to the end of the train before the timer runs out, then the train crashes, the townspeople get mad, and the kid will sell you Ultima for like 10,000 gil or something. And if you save the thing, then he gives you Ultima for free and you get the huge materia. And yeah, if you don't catch the train at all, then the kid doesn't even give you Ultima at all. Like, you can't even buy it. And yeah, the only way you can get the huge materia is if you save the train. Luckily, you can just stand here and not do the first fight. Could you imagine if, like, the first fight started right when you hit the train? That would mean we'd have to survive in that fight for 10 minutes. That would be brutal. I mean, I guess you could just wait. You could just wait. You could just wait. It'd be fine, but... That'd be kind of fun to try to survive in the fight for 10 minutes on active battle. You can dig up Zero. As long as you get Bahamut and Neo Bahamut, you can dig up Zero Bahamut. If the timer hits 0, yeah, the fight ends. And you don't get XP. No, you can't dig Ultima. Seems like a lot of people think that you can dig up a lot of stuff. You can only dig up Bahamut 0, W item, and the key. And Phoenix. That's it. And the mop. And a Mega Elixir. But yeah, it's not like a catch-all for all the things you miss throughout your playthrough or something. The only missable things that you get are Phoenix, Zero, and W item, which are big things, but... and a Revive Eris potion. And the mystery panties. And Dio's swimsuit. Diamond tiara. Have to dig 1 million times. I sure hope so. I have tickets. Just show up and they're like, just kidding. That wasn't even a thing. We were scammed. Should be able to dig up a toilet. Is this the first challenge we've ever crashed the train? Didn't we actually do the train in Necrosis? I think we did. I mean, we didn't have Cloud anyways, but there were a couple like crazy playthroughs where the train ended up being super hard. Maybe Monomod? Might have been one of the tough train battles. I don't remember. Well, we're keeping it. It's part of the challenge, man. Gotta have proof that we did the entire challenge, guys. It's gotta be in the video. So brutal. Ain't no getting off of this train we're on. Anyways, more huge materia. Town doesn't even look that different. $50K. We'll be back for that at some point, maybe. Town got a storage upgrade. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a right arm. Not my tent. Some kind of cruel joke having Barret steal the right arm. Guys, we gotta get the sneak glove. This is still so horrendous. My fabric house became a steel container. How am I gonna survive now? You know what's really great about having a steel container for a house? If it rains, you get a free bathtub. Bro, you just steal it. Like, we don't even really need it. I was just kind of figured I'd just steal it on my way, but whatever, dude. Be that way. Those guys have ethers, I think. Don't worry about that, Endo. There's a perfectly good reason why the train can just jump holes in the track. Also, this is not a train track, this is a roller coaster. Just saying, there's no shot the train goes over this track. This is just a roller coaster. Look at this. It's just like some sticks. Like, there's no way. And look at this gap. It's like as big as Sid. How does the train get through this? It's a transforming train. Probably remove this for a bit. We're not going to need it. We're not going to need it for a long time. Alright. Last big cutscene section. Let's get this while we're here. What's Quadra Magic gonna do for us? Not much. But hey. It's neat. lets you cast gravity 4 times on Emerald. Let's freaking go. I just realized I have to prepare for this fight. It's actually going to be a really hard fight. Actually, it might be an impossible fight. Yeah, I don't know if we survive this fight, actually. I didn't really think about it till now. I think we'll be okay, but I might need some elixirs. I think Wizard Bracelet, Circlet, Elemental Enemy Skill. I think this might be enough. This might be enough. I don't know. It's going to be close. How's it going, CS? First time making the stream since checking the series online. Apologies, this question has already been asked and answered, but why is Carry Armor talked about so frequently as being a particularly hard matchup? Carry Armor is most likely the hardest boss in most challenges. He's the hardest boss in the game in terms of what you have when you fight him, and what you can do to stop his damage. So like 90% of bosses in this game, there's some kind of cheese to prevent damage. For example, enemy skill Elemental protects you from Ultima Beam. Oof. You know, the Genovas you can protect from their element. Saber Sephiroth has a set pattern you can recognize. Like, most bosses in the game. Most bosses in the game, you can do something to protect yourself. Carry Armor, there's nothing you can do. If he grabs your character, you're screwed. Lapis Laser just comes out whenever he feels like it, and there's no defending against it. He can use Lapis Laser at the start of the fight, and then immediately again in double Lapis Laser. The only thing you can really do against Carry Armor to stop him is you can do a very specific amount of damage to the arms, and it stops him from grabbing you. But that's it. Other than that, you just have to deal with Lapis Laser damage. And so a lot of times in challenges like this, Carry Armor becomes a huge problem because there's just no way to mitigate his damage. And in general, I would say that Carry Armor is probably the hardest boss in the game anyways. If I had to pick. The one exception to the rule is if you're allowed to use Magic Hammer in whatever challenge you're doing. Magic Hammer does break the fight. You can Magic Hammer him and then he can't Lapis Laser. And he can't do anything other than hit you with his arms. But in a lot of challenges, you can't use Magic Hammer because a lot of challenges end up banning enemy skill because enemy skill is really freaking good. So if you have a hard challenge, it's probably because you're not letting yourself use enemy skill. But yeah, that is the one exception. But we can't use enemy skill in this challenge, so he instantly becomes a huge problem. Also, the damage Lapis Laser does is just kind of nuts. Like, it's just really strong. Like, Like I said, he's kind of just the hardest boss in the game, like, period. In terms of like a casual playthrough, I would say he's the hardest boss in the game. I think most people had the most trouble on carry armor. Maybe some people would argue the final boss gauntlet just because it's 3 bosses back to back, but I don't know. I think most people, especially given how strong you can get in the final dungeon, I feel like most people just get really powerful before fighting Sephiroth. Yeah. Yeah, it's mostly just, unless you can use Magic Hammer, there's no way to stop his barrage. And if he grabs somebody, all you can do is kill the arm, and usually you can't kill the arm before your character dies. So there's just no counter to him doing that. So yeah, he's a huge problem in general. But then in this challenge, because we're so low level, we have like no HP. And Lapis Laser is a full party hit for a lot of damage. A lot of bosses, if you have low HP, as long as you heal every turn, whoever gets hit, it's not a problem. But when he hits the whole party, it's a problem. So he's Materia Keeper, but he uses a stronger version of Trine much more frequently. And you can't protect against Bolt to stop it. That means bosses are too easy in this game if your level is normal. I would agree. I think that this game is too easy. That's always been one of my complaints about the game, if I have to have one. If I had to come up with, like, negatives for this game, I would say that it's one of the easiest Final Fantasies. Which isn't inherently a negative thing, but I think it could have been harder in general. I think that you get so many tools to be so strong in this game, and other than Emerald Weapon, Ruby Weapon, if you really use the game's mechanics, you will just smash like every boss. And I think that the early game, you can kind of just attack and win most fights. Like, you can just attack and use Cure when you get low and win for like 60% of the game, which I think is not ideal. I prefer harder games in general, so it's a bit of a personal preference, but just looking at like Final Fantasy 1 through 6, I don't think this game did a good job of like hitting that same difficulty arc that 1 through 6 has. I think that it's noticeably easier than 1 through 6. And it might have been on purpose because they wanted this one to be a bit more of a, like, everyone can play it. They knew they were going to release it in America. And, like, I think they wanted it to be more approachable. But I think they went too far. I think it could have been harder. I think the games can be a certain degree of difficulty and still be accessible, and I think that this is too easy. I think it could have been harder and still been accessible, you know? But I don't know, a lot of us played this game as kids, and maybe we wouldn't have liked it as much if we got stuck at, like, Motorball, because it was too hard or something, you know? So I don't know. Maybe that was the right choice after all to make it easy. That's why no one plays SMT. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was the right call to make it easy. But that still doesn't change my objective. Like, if I'm being objective and, like, reviewing the game as a game in 2025, like, I think it's still a reasonable thing to say, you know. Was it, like, some games need to not go for that 10 out of 10 review score if they're going to be successful. Like, that's a pretty good example of something where, like, I think they knew making the game tougher would make for a better game, but they chose to make it more accessible to make more money and to get it out there and to get the whole Final Fantasy series more recognizable and stuff. So, like, that's pretty fair. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices like that. Also, this is what I was talking about. You can menu here for no reason. Just fiddle around with things. And you can't hear. It's only when little Tifa's on screen. Like when it does that zoom in. What was the hardest Final Fantasy? I think that 13 is the hardest to just get to the credits. Like, for a casual playthrough, if you're like a standard RPG fan, to get from the beginning of the game to the credits, I think 13's the hardest. But I think 3 had the hardest, like, final dungeon. 3's final dungeon is absolutely insane. I don't know what the heck they were thinking. And that was in the remake, too. Which is probably slightly easier, if nothing else. I think 13, out of all the Final Fantasies, demands that you understand how the game is played to beat it. You do not need to understand how Final Fantasy VII is played to beat it. You just need to heal when you get low. And maybe equip stuff relative to what you're fighting, maybe. But, like, you don't have to have a deep understanding of Final Fantasy VII's mechanics to beat it. But you need to, like, actually understand how 13 works to beat it. You will get absolutely demolished by most of the bosses in the middle of the game suddenly if you're not paying attention how the game works. And you can't really, like, power farm in 13 either. Pretty much all the Final Fantasy games, if you're really bad and have no idea what you're doing, you can just power farm and win. And you can't really do that in 13 either. For a lot of the stuff. You get... First of all, you get limited to how far you can level up. And second of all, some of the fights are, like, gimmicky, where leveling up doesn't really help. Whereas, like, Final Fantasy VIII, if you have any trouble at all, just get some Ultima Magic stats and you win. Or, I mean, 8's kind of a bad example because that game also scales, but even with the scaling, if you level up enough, the game becomes much easier. 10, just go around the sphere grid a bit more and you'll smash anything in your way. I will say 10 is definitely up there, though, because the amount of people that messaged me or, like, during Fantathon said in the chat, this is where I quit playing, was pretty insane. Like, so many people give up on either Seymour Flux or, what was the other one? Unalesca. Those two bosses, like, There are a crazy amount of people that quit the game at that point. So yeah, I think 10 is definitely up there. But again, I would argue that if you love 10, you will take the time to level up enough to smash them. You know, you don't have to have like a really good understanding of how 10 works. You just need to like it enough to level up enough to beat them. And I think that Seymour Flux is a really well-designed boss, and I don't think I would really change Seymour Flux. But Unalesca is brutal because of that opening cutscene. They needed to have a save point after the cutscene. That it is so brutal when you play the game for the first time, and you have to sit and watch that cutscene every time you fail. And then on top of that, she has a gimmick move that kills you pretty much 100% of the time the first time you fight her. That's bad. That's just bad game design. That's just bad. You do not put a gimmicky boss right after a huge cutscene. You just don't do it. That's just bad game design. And I love 10. It's my second or third favorite game of all time. I will happily admit that it's horrible game design. That boss. How's it going, Mighty Beats? Yeah, man. Great to have you here. We stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So we're about an hour and a half away from the end of the stream here. And we also stream Thursday nights, if that works better for you, starting at 7:15-ish p.m. And sometimes we stream on Saturday nights as well. So would love to have you around, but I really appreciate you being here today. Yeah, 3 4s. Gimmicky boss with 3 forms after a huge cutscene. That's just rough. That doesn't feel like... I mean, I love the Unalesca fight because I think it's like the first big climax of the story. And it's a big reveal. And it's like Yuna's big moment and it's Auron's big moment. And like, there's a lot going on. I'm glad it's such an epic, huge fight that's 3 phases long. But like, man, just let us skip the cutscene. Like, seriously, just let us skip the cutscene. Even in death, yeah. God, such a great moment for Waka, too. Yeah, man, it's great to have you here. We're going to start doing PC any % runs. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In the morning. Going to try to get my record back. So, it's going to be an exciting time. We should do a Final Fantasy difficulty tier list. Do we ever do that? That'd be an interesting one. Difficulty comes in a lot of different forms, though. Like, the way I worded it, you know, I worded it that way on purpose. Because, like, I think a standard RPG player getting from the start of the game to the credits, 13 is the hardest. But I worded it that way because there's a lot of other ways you can kind of denote difficulty. Like, I think that and actually, if we were to go by, like, difficulty of execution, I would also say 13's the hardest. Because, like, all the other RPGs, you can do wait mode, You can take your time. You can look up a guide, you know, to how exactly to do a fight and whatnot. I feel like 13 does have the most amount of, like, skill that you need to have to beat the game, regardless of what guides you look at. What's the easiest Final Fantasy? I mean, my gut choice is 15. I hate to say it, but 16's definitely up there too. But it's not even like the fights in 16 are hard, but it's just modern gaming. You lose and it puts you back at like the second half of the fight. So it's just, it's not the easiest, but it's the least punishing. So by design, it ends up being the easiest. Like, the final boss of 16 is actually pretty tough, but you can just use items, or you can just fail, and then it puts you right back at the end, and, like, it's just... You know, and that's not even including the, like, accessories you can put on to make it easier. Yeah, 15, you just have 99 Phoenix Downs and you can't lose. Which is really a shame, because I feel like 15 could have had a pretty okay difficulty curve if it weren't for that. In terms of the retros, this one's definitely up there, 9's definitely up there. Two is up there if you do the XP trick, which a lot of people figured out casually. But I wouldn't include that. This is a 15 hating channel. No, it's not. Come on. Come on. We love 15 here. I love cooking. And selfies. And cooking selfies. Don't take that out of context. I like Final Fantasy VIII as well. Which game's easier, this or 9? I want to say this, but I feel like I'm super biased. So it's kind of hard to say. Still think 7's easier. Okay, so we gotta go... Actually, Sid is replacing Tifa now, which is interesting. Sid's gonna be with us the rest of the game now. Okay, the hard thing about 9 is, like, staying awake during the fights, though. Is that included in difficulty? What the dog doing? Let's go steal some Adaman bangles. The fights and the load screens. Listen, 9 is one of my favorite games of all time. It is so slow. It is so slow. It is so slow. It is the slowest game ever. It's the slowest video game of all time. I'm falling asleep just thinking about how slow it is. It's so slow. You know what's kind of interesting to me? The difficulty curve of Final Fantasy is like really odd because I feel like it started like pretty easy and then got harder and harder and then like fell off the face of the planet again with modern gaming and just being like not punishing anymore. But it's kind of interesting. It's definitely not. It's definitely not a line one way or the other. At least this guy is really easy to steal from. He's really weak. Oh, what is the steal chance on this? Oof. Saying it, boys. I think it's 0%. What's his steal percent? Bro, it's a 33 out of 64. This is like 3 times easier to steal than the water ring. It's just a skill issue. I just want you guys to know that Sid currently has a maximum MP of 16. Have a nice day. Me too. I felt that. We all have those days, Sid. I think it's all the years of smoking and drinking, I think. Just doesn't have the MP anymore. Just doesn't have it in him. Brother, this is like a 50% steal. What level is he? He's only level 30. This is just unlucky. There's no way it's this hard to steal. We're just getting unlucky. Finally. Holy. Can't wait for this to sell for like a gil. What do you mean 300 gil? What? What do you mean? Well,